All right, what's going on, everybody? Today we're sitting here with 6FU Crazy Boy. He's going to be the star of our first segment of interview with really talented players on COD Mobile. What's going on, Crazy Boy? How are you doing today, buddy?
Pretty good. Not much going on today. It's just a normal day for me today. Just normal Saturday day. Just...
Perfect. Yeah, so we're just gonna get started with a few questions here. We just want to get to know a little bit about you. So I'm gonna start it off. How old are you?
I'm 19 years old. I'm turning 20 in 15 days.
Big 20. It's coming up soon.
Almost 20.
Once you hit double digits, they just keep climbing.
I feel old already.
Oh God, yeah. So where are you from? Like, where do you reside right now?
Right now, I'm living in Canada, more specifically in Quebec.
All right. So Canada, that would be streaming on North American servers, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, on the East Coast.
On the East Coast, okay. So, I mean, I've been playing with you for quite some time, but I've never asked you. So, what drew you into playing COD Mobile originally? Like, what sort of gravitated you toward that game in particular?
Honestly, I'm one of the OG players. Like, I've started playing the game on beta, like the end of the beta, like more start of season 1, when the game originally came out. And honestly, what drive I don't know how to say it, but whatever. What drove me to play the game, honestly, was how easily I could play anywhere I wanted. Like, I used to play Call of Duty Black Ops on console, and I could only play that at home. But like COD Mobile, like you could play that on your phone anywhere, and that's pretty much what.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with you on that one. I mean, a lot of people are just kind of like, not necessarily against consoles, but I mean, the ease of use of having a mobile device in your hand is just like so convenient in general, especially, you know, when you find yourself a busy day-to-day thing. So, you know, I feel like that was sort of a revolution in a way.
Yeah, it's like everybody has a phone already, so it's pretty much easy access for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's set up, ready to rock. I mean, it's pretty awesome. I mean, the games were so limited, you know, sort of prior to the first-person shooter platform that sort of like spearheaded technology-wise. So it's just really interesting. So
yeah,
back to the game. Do you currently hold a leaderboard position for any weapons, or are you top 5,000? Is that something that you're shooting for?
Right now I'm trying to get to top 5,000 in North America. I'm not there yet because like I didn't get the time to play as much when the season started, but I'm catching up slowly but surely. As for guns, I'm on leaderboard for the Razorback in North America. I know not a lot of people like the gun and not a lot of people use it, but it's kind of my weapon. So
yeah, I mean, I think there's like a lot of mutual respect for people that are able to go through and sort of, you know, gain a rank on any gun, just because it takes a lot of dedication. Number one, to play with that gun specifically for an extended period of time, but also sort of just grinding and putting in that effort and being successful. You know, that's very interesting, and it's very admirable.
Yeah, because the hard part about being on leaderboard with the Razorback, since it's not meta, is actually using it against all the metas that are out right now. So to get points with it, I actually have to win with the Razorback, which is not always easy.
Yeah, I mean, with the last couple seasons, with respect to those, I mean, it's pretty challenging to sort of divert from playing with, like, this, let's say, the Switchblade, the M13 at any given point. I mean, there's so many guns that come to mind that are just excellent options in the Razorback that almost put you at a disadvantage, but it just seems like you were able to sort of persevere with that.
Yeah, like, I feel like Razorback's, like, one of the guns that's so underrated, but, like, still it's a really viable choice of weapon you can use.
Yeah, and it also takes a lot of skill to be. I've noticed that there's skill-based guns where you really have to work and you really have to understand the recoil that you're dealing with and sort of account for like the strafe speed. So I mean, there's like a lot of like personal like critiques that you have to do and maneuvers in order to be able to play with something well.
Yeah, basically, having good aim with a gun. What makes a gun actually harder to use in general is mainly like the recoil pattern. Like if there's more recoil, it's gonna be harder, and how fast the gun shoots. Like if it shoots slower, it's gonna be way harder because you can't miss any shots.
Yeah, I've noticed a direct connection with that as well. All right, so back, I got a few more questions for you here.
Yeah, for sure.
Basically, when I first started playing the game, I was really interested in seeing iFerg's gameplay because, you know, he was incredibly talented. Number one, he was a absolutely hilarious personality. He came out with great content. His editing skills were top notch. Can you think of a player that you sort of like pulled inspiration from when you started playing, or have you found along the way that you really enjoy?
Honestly, I used to watch a lot of iFerg, but like then his post schedule got like a little bit slower, so I've gotten more into Bobby Plays, honestly, because I love the way he kind of explains how the guns are working and like all the stats, and like the way he explains it, I feel like there's nobody else that explains it like as well, stats wise. He might not be the best player skill wise, but he honestly, I think he explains how guns work the best.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would agree with you in terms of the fact that he's an incredibly intelligent person in general. You pick up on that right away when you listen to him talk, what he conveys himself, how organized he is when he delves into detail and then sits there and itemizes and does comparisons on different guns. And the fact that he's always up to date on, he's sort of like a news reporter for what's happening with, you know, the meta, or maybe even viable options that aren't considered meta. So, you know, I'm also very interested to hear what he has to say many times as well. So, I mean, with that being said, would you say that he's your current favorite player on the game, or is there somebody else that, you know, you're also interested in watching their content?
Well, Bobby would be pretty much my favorite big YouTuber to watch. I'm also close friends with another player that's called Naga. He also does YouTube and Trovo. He's not as big. He's slowly growing. But honestly, I really love playing with him, and also with you, Wits. It's always fun to play with you.
Yeah, I mean, playing with you and Naga is always a great time, man. I could definitely agree with that. I mean, it's definitely a highlight of you know, the schedule for sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Crazy
so
games we've got in.
oh yeah, we've been into some crazy ones. Yeah, so I mean, when a lot of players look at the game, there's like a sort of war between the two thumbers and then like the claw players. I don't know. I mean, how would you describe your HUD layout? Like, for example, like a 6, 5, 4 finger, 3 finger, 2 finger.
Let me give you a pic. The basic idea, like, you know, people play claw. That's how I play. 4 fingers, one index on the right, one thumb on the right, one index on the left, and one thumb on the left. So basically, the way I laid out my HUD is on the top right. There's my aim button. I use my index for that. On the top left, there's the shoot button, and I use that with my index. I have the left thumb to move, and I use my score streak also with that. So on the right bottom thumb, I use my slide, jump, crouch, grenade, everything else.
I feel like that's kind of setting yourself up ergonomically for the finger that you're comfortable with and things that you deem relevant for the finger. So it's, you know, if you get into a situation, you feel like, okay, well, I'm not doing anything with this finger, and it's relevant to, let's say, these several options in terms of movement or aiming or, you know, obtaining, you know, a tactical grenade or, you know, something of that nature. It's sort of setting it up in a way that's ergonomic for you, and I think that's important. Do you feel like that affects your play style, or not necessarily dictates what you do, but, you know, definitely maybe even helps you in a lot of situations to be more aggressive?
I don't know if it helps me or it actually changes my play style, but I know that setting my buttons like a bit closer to each other makes it like faster to click them and switch in between different buttons. Like if I want to slide jump, it's faster because they're like closer to each other, and like it's it won't take me as much time as if I had set up different. So that does really help me when I have to win some gunfights based on my movement or my aim. And when I have to pick my grenade and just switch as fast as I can to my gun because there's an enemy coming at me. Like, the HUD is going to play a big part in that.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that as well. You know, I feel like when you're set up with that sort of complexity versus somebody that's playing with, let's say, you know, a player like myself, I'm a two-thumb player, and if I were to go against you, I feel like I would have more limitations, you know, trying to beat you in a gunfight. I mean, I might get lucky if I'm able to do a flick on you, but in general, you know, if you're set up in that way, you have more options available. So I think we could say, like, you know, in terms of passing on maybe a little bit of advice to people would be to start the game trying to play with like a four-finger style and then maybe expand upon it from there. Would you agree with that?
Yes and no. I know new players are all gonna tend towards like using only thumbs when they start, and that's fine when you start playing, but the more you move on, like the harder it is gonna be to switch. So I do recommend trying it out with thumbs first, seeing how you feel, and then slowly moving to 3, 4, 5 fingers, how comfortable you feel.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that too, because if you go in trying to do that right away, I mean, it could almost be discouraging to you if you don't sort of understand it immediately and get that sort of feel for it that you would. I mean, two thumbs are pretty simple in general, and then, you know, beyond that, sort of moving up to that almost like in a you know, developmental fashion would be pretty important. You know, just for mental health. I mean, let's be real.
It's also because like most mobile games are set up for only like 2 stops. Like, let's say you have like small platformers or RPG games on mobile. They're usually going to be set up for like thumbs. That's why people usually, I think, will tend towards thumb play when they join Call of Duty Mobile for the first time. And playing four fingers might like feel a bit weird, but it takes a bit of time to get used to. But once you get used to it, it really gives you a big advantage.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. So, you know, on the token of, you know, let's say HUD, I mean, what comes next in my mind would have to be sensitivity. So, I don't know. You tell me. What do you think about sensitivity? Are you playing with like? And that's about all that time we have for today, guys. I'm gonna have to wrap it up on that. I've already filmed a part 2, providing people like and subscribe. Any feedback whatsoever would be appreciated. This is in the beta right now. There's a lot of quirks that I have to work out and audio discrepancies. I have more things to come. I have a interview with It's Me Quinn, who's a really talented player, and fingers crossed I'm trying to get Tribe Tectonic. I really appreciate you guys coming out to hang out with me for a little bit, and roll the outro.